Good evening, everyone. If you don't know, you should know. My name is Rameez and I'm a filmmaker and a film critic, and not that many movies have come out, but I did get the chance to see The Fate of the Furious.
Switch it up like. Switch it up, speaker box blast, blast. Speaker box blast, go rat tat tat tat. In fact, we about to go up like. Oh shit! We're gonna need a bigger truck.
By now, everyone's aware of the backstory of Dominic Toretto and his crew, but even if you're not, the film does a fairly good enough job of acclimating the audience with Dominic Toretto's crew's past glories. This film is centered around Dominic Toretto's turning to the dark side. Yes, Dominic Toretto, the man who should become a preacher about the subject of family, goes against his family in this film. And he joins the villain of the movie, who's played by Charlize Theron, named Cypher, and they go all across the world yet again. Like all the Fast and the Furious films, the setup is very simple, and you gotta go with it if you truly want to enjoy this film. I remember I found myself nitpicking the plot and the continuity and the logic of these films when I was watching the fifth Fast and the Furious, and all it did was rob me of my entertainment. If you nitpick in these movies, all you're gonna do is rob yourself of entertainment, so you know what, take a chill pill. Just enjoy the movie for what it is. Dumb, bloated action. Even though the setup is fairly questionable. I mean, why does Cypher exactly need Dominic Toretto? She seems to be quite a beast without Dominic Toretto. But what that does, Dominic Toretto aligning with Cypher, it gives us a pretty weighted storyline for a Fast and the Furious film. I never in my wildest dreams thought that a franchise which was built off of street racing would become an alternative to James Bond movies, but here we are. The big talking point over here is the action. It's quite jaw-dropping. Before this, the Fast and the Furious film to contain the best action was the sixth one. Furious 7 had sequences that ran way too long, such as that daring escape when they jumped off the plane. That went on for way too long, and that translated for the whole movie as well. But Furious 8 knows when to cut its action sequences short, knows when to cut at the right time as well. The level of destruction these guys cause, it's not Man of Steel level, but very, very close. The script also covers any questions the audiences would have about collateral damage, as most of the stuff happens in deserted areas or with a low locale. The standout action sequence in this film takes place in New York, where Cypher takes control of a fleet of cars which contain a microchip, and she's controlling them on her tablet, and she causes all sorts of havoc on the streets of New York. It's truly amazing. It's a visual marvel and just makes your heart palpitate a bit more than 72 beats a minute. It's also a sort of a tribute to the second film of the franchise. There's also a pretty slick prison riot sequence that is preceded by a neat comedic dialogue between The Rock and Jason Statham. Now, unlike the previous two Fast and the Furious films, this film does contain a weaker antagonist. Charlize Theron is not so special as Cypher. She's very dry, and she really looks dry as well. Compared to the likes of Luke Evans from Fast and the Furious 6, the cunning Luke Evans, and the badass Jason Statham, Charlize Theron's Cypher falls not just a bit short, but really short. She lacks personality even more so than Luke Evans and Jason Statham combined. And she looks sick in this film. She's skinny, she's pale when it comes to the skin. It looks like she had a protein deficiency. Someone please get Charlize Theron a meatball sandwich. And almost all of her lines fall flat. They don't instill fear in any of the protagonists, and doing so, they don't instill any fear in the audience as well. She is menacing, but her performance doesn't make her menacing. It's the script that makes her menacing. Also, why exactly did they pick Charlize Theron as a villain? She's not really good when she's playing a villain. Anyone see those Snow White and the Huntsman movies? One thing which benefits from the cyber thriller plotline is how the movie offers some slight commentary on today's over-reliance on technology. Yeah, some social commentary in a Fast and the Furious film. There are a few negatives in this film, but the biggest one involves the script and its characters. They're joking way too much in this film. Now, the jokes and the comedy work for the previous films, as they weren't as serious as this film. Their leader has gone rogue. Their leader has left them. Things should not be so jokey. This was a great opportunity to add some layers of character to our characters of Ludacris and Tyrese Gibson, who are punchlines throughout the whole franchise. But they don't go that route, sadly. The addition of Scott Eastwood is fairly useless in this film, as he really does nothing, but I guess that's their way of replacing Paul Walker. And the same goes for that British chick who's the hacker. I mean, what does she do, and don't we already have a hacker in Ludacris's character? So, I don't know. However, they make up for that by having The Rock and Jason Statham become a massive duo. These guys have some real chemistry on screen, and their relationship feels organic. If I had to pick one standout in this film, it would be Jason Statham. The guy does a fairly good job acting his part, but he's also pretty good in the action part as well. Near the end, he partakes in a fantastic tribute to the films of John Woo, such as Hard Boiled and Face Off, near the end of the film. Watch out for that. Like every Fast and the Furious film, there are a lot of plot and logic issues in the script. However, there is a lot to like about what the production does with this 8th film as well. This production, this crew really treats, Universal Studios really treats the Fast and the Furious franchise with respect. If you watch Part 6, 7, and 8, they make a pretty fantastic trilogy. Everything that happens in Part 6 and 7 is actually taken into account in the 8th film, unlike another massive studio does. Cough, cough. I'm looking at you, Marvel Studios. Iron Man retired in Iron Man 3. Why is he back in Age of Ultron, huh? I don't know how the franchise got so big. I mean, how did it go from street racing to heist films to spy thrillers? I seriously don't know, but I'm happy they took that change because street racing is friggin' boring. I would put this film right up against Mission Impossible 5 and possibly Skyfall as well. I mean, can you name me another franchise, an action franchise, which is better than the Fast and the Furious franchise in the 2010 era? I would like to know in the comments below. But for now, I am giving The Fate of the Furious a pretty good score of 4 out of 5. A must-see action film in my opinion. You won't be disappointed if you see this on a massive screen. It's a lot of fun, guys. Again, shut off your brain to watch this. Thank you so much for watching, people. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content. But until next time, remember to love yourself.